All right, time to relax. Kick the feet up. I don't care if you're still in the office. Do it. The real Kyper Bourne show. Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee, Jake the Snake Schultz, Derek Brandeo. Yes, we are live and in color. Sportsnet 360, 590 The Fan in Toronto. Streaming always on Sportsnet Plus, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Available at your discretion.
Perfect.
I almost tongue-tied that one.
You got it.
Nailed it.
The Toronto Maple Leafs and the Montreal Canadiens last night, to quote former teammate of mine,
I know where this is going.
went on to have an illustrious career with Stanley Cups, but an astute type of guy, would look at the Leafs today in the standings and utter the words, "We got a lot of losses. We got a lot of losses."
Well done, Brendan.
He must have teed him up for that.
No, I did
Seriously?
not.
You did.
No. Every once in a while, Derek pays attention.
Well, no, you tee him up for stuff sometimes,
I
and you
do,
don't tell us.
in this instance, 100%.
Wow.
I did not.
That's a veteran. That's a veteran.
But I'm still itching to say it, but I can't now.
Say it.
No.
Say it.
We got a lot of losses. We got a lot of losses. Eight, guys.
Slapshot line.
8
Yeah.
in a row. We'll break down what we saw last night like we do in our Leaf Hour edition, but and maybe it was a better look at times. But
Sure.
there's just no going around that they are on this. What's the opposite of a heater?
I think a cooler.
A pooper.
Cooler works. Everyone's a winner last night. Everyone got what they wanted out of the deal. Montreal
Okay.
gets their, what? No?
Okay, I got this. We're going to do the mailbag in the second half of the hour
Then why are you bringing
because
it up
this
now?
is relevant. This is from Liam Gutman. He DM'd this to me. These numbers are pretty damning. But they're 0-6-2 stretch, which is now 0-12-4 against teams outside of Western Canada, Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton, and Winnipeg since January 12th. So they beat those crappy teams out west, and they haven't beat anybody else. 0-12-4 outside of those teams, who are all at the bottom of the standings, and one of them is Edmonton.
But they got a lot of
We
losses.
suck. Hey,
This is not just a new...
save the mailbag here, please.
They are
I know.
awful.
They're awful.
Awful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't want to get into that right now because this morning I did the JD Bunkus show.
Excellent program.
And I heard you on there. You were fantastic today, bud.
Okay. I don't know anything about that. All I do remember is JD really, and I didn't get a chance to listen to you guys late night last night.
I'd be stunned if you did.
No, but every once in a while I do.
What?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'm stuck.
Yeah.
I'm in the
Car won't start. Yeah, whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm not really getting this cheerleading thing to get the draft pick back.
Why? Get on board, pal.
I'm not on board
How can you not be?
because whatever pain you're feeling to save face with that pick only gets kicked down the road, and then you run the risk of 2 lottery balls that you cannot participate in, even if you're the worst team in the league next year. And whatever you're feeling for a top 5 pick will pale in comparison to seeing an first overall either next year or the year after or both.
The idea, though, is that you have the chance to not give Boston the 6th overall pick, but give them the 24th overall pick. You can get your top 5 pick this year and then be better next year. Have that first overall pick or second overall pick help you be part of next year's retool and give them a crappy pick next year.
Like, Bunkus is...
Better than the top 5.
Hey.
We went on last night after the show, after they lost that game, and it was with the jubilation of, like, our playoff ones that we used to do together. He's like, they lost this guy lost, this team lost that. He's like reading it all out. We all know, boys, what the outcome is here. The Leafs are going to reek down the stretch. They have a tough schedule, a lot of playoff teams. They are going to get down to the 6th or 7th spot.
Okay.
And you know what's going to happen? We all know what's going to happen.
They're going to hand it to Boston?
Boston is going to get the 6th overall pick. That is just something
and
that
Verhoff is going to fall to
I have resigned to that fact. But at the same time, Kyper, I think when you have a chance with this at the top of this draft with who's up there, you can't, like, this is your only what other choice do they have? They're going to get good all of a sudden? Like, this is kind of what you have to do.
Which is my point I'm going to make to my good buddy, Justin Bourne, who I love immensely. But what world are you thinking of when you watch this team today lose 8 in a row and continue to go down a skid that they're going to hand Boston the 24th pick overall next year?
Yeah. Well, that's
just hopeful, wishful thinking.
Well, they could sign Schmaltz in the offseason.
The thing is, if
no.
you're worried.
Oh, is he gone?
Yeah, he's gone.
Oh, crap.
If you're worried about giving them the number 2 pick next year or whatever, you'd be giving them the 6th this year or something. Like, it's not that different, but at least you have the chance to be better. They have Matthews and Nylander and goaltending and the intent, and Matthew Nyes as of today, and now the number 2 overall pick or whatever it is, and you start to go. Now we go. Tanev's back. Here we go.
Oh, we've done this already.
We have.
So you don't.
But
So you want to give, like, it's still unprotected next year regardless, right? Philly gets it unprotected next year.
no, it's top 10 protected for Philly.
Is it?
Yeah, and then it can be punted if it's in the
Yes.
top 10.
I thought it was,
Yeah.
if they get it this year, then it goes unprotected in the next 2 years.
No. If they gave it this year
To Boston.
to Boston, their Philly pick would be up next year, and that one is top 10 protected.
Top 10 protected.
Okay.
So then if they were in the top 10, then it would get punted. Then it would be unprotected for Philly in the next one. I just think you can't, if you have the chance to get a top 5 player, it's just, they need it bad, man. They need it. And at least you have the chance to give them something worse next year.
What are you, like, proposing they do?
Well, not
Win? Like, I don't understand
not
your point.
win, not win, but like save some face for 16 games. And is there anything that you believe that Craig Berube is just going to lie down like a dog here for 16 games
Is there any
and
reason
tank
to
on
think
purpose?
it's not? No. But I haven't seen anything that makes me think he has a choice. I presume he's been trying.
So the players, then they're so concerned about the Leafs that they are managing the team for Craig and Brad by going, let's get that pick back.
No, I think they independently
What is
don't
happening
care.
here? What is the
I think they independently don't care. You know, it just the way it looks right now, it's tough to say that, boy.
And that's worth cheering for.
It's not worth cheering for, but it's tough to argue with the logic that they're done this year. It's not, there's no stakes for them.
I still don't understand what you're getting at.
Well, I think to Kip's point,
just-
you'd pay your debt first so you could start getting better.
I don't.
and
Yeah,
not risk
I
giving
don't
up.
want. I hate this whole thing about like purposely now celebrating what we've seen. I find it incredibly insulting to everybody involved.
I think
Welcome to pro sports. It's rewarded at every single level of every single sport.
It doesn't mean I have to like it.
No, for sure.
Okay.
But I mean,
and leagues are trying to find ways around it.
And the one of the worst things I think over close to 60 years now is that like you've been the butt of jokes for a long time, and now you're inviting that for another month, and it's like,
well, they're there.
Kyper, I mean,
I know, but you don't
brother,
have
what I've
to
been
buy
through in
into
sports
that.
the last
you,
year. Like, I
you
can handle
don't have
this.
to buy into that toxic culture.
Yeah.
Is my point. Fight it tooth and nail.
Well, then, if that's the belief to me, if they were on your page, it would be fire Berube today.
Yeah.
Go hire Pete DeBoer, who you're going to hire in the offseason anyway, because he's the biggest name available. Start fresh here. Give guys a new look. Give guys, something to play for. First impressions for the coach. I feel like they're just burying their head in the sand here, going to take their lumps till it's over.
Do you think?
Yeah, because I don't think this isn't, to your point, this is going to piss you off then, like, if you hate this so much. But, I saw the article that you sent, like, people just straight up calling for Berube's job and, like, how it's time or whatever. If you're asking me, the time has long since passed. The time was in when Savvy got fired. That's when the time, like, if you were going to really do it.
Yeah, that's the headline in The Athletic today is it's time for Berube to go.
Sure. But if you get rid of Berube and whoever you put in there, Lalonde or
Yeah, that's what you
Sure,
It's
sure.
really
You
it
call
would
up
be
more
no
Marlies?
different than just prior to Brendan Shanahan coming, right? With the changeover. I don't know what year it was, but
bring someone in to have a look, evaluate.
Peter Horchuk. Is it Horchuk?
Horchuk.
Yeah, he took over, and then we knew that was temporary, and there's going to be a different look the following year.
Yeah. But you think that it shouldn't.
But if they do that, then you may get some sort of a bounce from your good players who seem to be fast asleep right now, and I'm not sure they want that. To me.
There's no question that, and this goes back to when we talked to Brad Treliving last week, that decisions haven't been made, or they've either haven't been made or they've been made, but they're just not telling anybody publicly.
Mm-hmm.
So which one is it? Because Brad Treliving, it's business as usual, and every day that goes by is every day that you think quite possibly he could be back next year.
Yeah.
Right?
But not the coach, right? Like you don't know.
If you were going to fire Craig and you constantly watch a team come out of the gate to start a game and it's not a one-off here getting outshot like 17-5. This is just
It happens every single night.
been all season long.
Yeah.
So if you do believe that coaching is an issue here moving forward and you want a fresh change, then what's the point of having him right now finish the last 16 games?
Well, and this is kind of why I think that they're internally embracing the tank. Is like to Sam's point about not wanting a bounce. Like you look at their lineup last night. Easton Cowan played 18-20 last night. You know, that's the most he's played in I don't know how long. Suddenly they give him minutes. Bo Gruel, 14-37. You know, suddenly they're like, okay, maybe we're giving some looks to some other guys. The win's not as important. It felt last night like they kind of had a better idea what they were doing. They play a bunch of playoff teams in a row here. Who they got? They got Anaheim, Buffalo, Minnesota, Islanders, Carolina. Their next five, all playoff teams. They could be close. They're 5 points back from the bottom five right now.
And much to my chagrin, it's Bo Grew, not Gruel.
Yes, and it's also probably B.O. Grew, if I had to guess. Is it Benoit?
Bo Gruel.
Yeah.
He was from...
His name is Benoit.
Yeah, but I Grew. I'd like to call him Gruel, but it's Grew.
It is Grew.
Unfortunately. I still don't... You're just in a tough spot with this team. Because I don't think that you were expecting them to be... Well, maybe you know, because you picked them to kind of miss the playoffs, didn't you?
I didn't miss... No, I had them third. I had them in the playoffs, but I had them struggling. I did, yeah.
Okay.
And I gave them the 20 games. I want to see what it looks like for 20 games, and then 20 became 40, and 40 is today where we're at. And I'm not even there totally on people that said, well, the signs were there from last year. They had 106 points last year. And 106, 108?
108, I think.
Okay, whatever it is. They finished atop over 82 games in the most competitive division last year. I know they lost Mitch Marner, but they should not be this bad.
No, they should definitely not. And that's why I kind of, the little part of me is like, is there still something here that they're not this bad, that everything has gone wrong, that the coach didn't work out?
I hate to be blame coach guy, but I'm about to be.
Berube gave them a decent look last year. They were tough to play against.
And then it stopped working.
How
Ken.
many?
How many times have you seen this in across your years covering hockey, where these fast burn coaches, which you didn't necessarily think Berube was, come in there blustery, they play hard or whatever, and the second it stops working, it goes south so quickly. There's tons of guys like that around the league. It's just, to me, next year going in with a new coach, I don't know who it's going to be. I don't know if they're going to go to the established route or whatever it's going to be. Part of it has to fall on him. It has to. Like, I think you have to look at it and be like, one of the reasons they're struggling this year is because of the coaching staff.
I'll say this. If you're in Kip's camp and you don't want to watch losses and cheer for losses, because that stinks, and we shouldn't be forced to by these systems to root for that, but that's the way it is. The one thing you'd be cheering for wins for is make Boston's pick worse. That is a direct rival who is on the fringes of playoffs. You're going to give him a pick. You would sure like it to be 13th, not 6th. So there's your incentive if you want to root for wins. If you believe the bottom can fall out.
I'm not even interested in the wins. I'm just interested in the look and watching a guy like McCabe come to.
They can't have a good look. They can't.
Well,
I thought after the first period last night, they were competitive. They were right in that game.
Yeah. I like McCabe coming in on a late hit.
On Cowan.
Yes.
Well, he's still Jake McCabe, right?
That's at least the look that I can at least feel like they've got some pride in them. And it's a tough
keep a culture going to next year.
Try at least to set a tone for whatever you can, albeit as hopeless as you think it is.
Yeah.
I just don't want my players mailing it in, right? And McCabe didn't mail it in.
Oof.
Like that's stepping up. I would have liked to have seen it from more guys throughout 82 games, but JB, you still got to start somewhere, right? So start at the last 16 games for me. That's all I'm trying to say. It's not cheering them on to necessarily win. So whatever, to me, that's almost irrelevant now where they finish or what pick Boston gets. It's just, can we just start with culture?
It just feels
I know it's that word that everybody just throws around and nobody really knows what it means, but there's still something to it.
If you want to start with culture, do you start by trading Scott Lawton?
And unity, chemistry, great
guys
skill.
who just tried every night and worked hard and cared?
I think there's an argument for that. Yeah, absolutely. And that's on, again, the management team to decide if that hurt or helped culture moving forward.
I just think that there's a month left in the season and we're not used to talking about this. And this is how all these teams look like when they suck at the end of seasons, that when they're supposed to be good. Like, I don't know who's a disappointing team last year off the top of my head. I'm having a hard time coming up with one, but a team that was maybe supposed to be in the playoffs and missed. Like, I'm sure there's a lot of teams out there that are having these similar conversations toward the end of the year when you have, say what it is, like the starters can come out and say what they want after, or whatever, but they're checked out. They're not playing nearly as hard as they have in other years. It just feels like it's not a sprint, a crawl to the finish for these guys, and that you're wanting them to look a certain way. But it's just not going to look like that. It's going to look bad for a month. It's going to look bad most nights.
It looked bad in November,
sure,
too.
But this is the first year during a regular season where it's looked bad. And it just looks really bad, and it's going to suck for fans. But
I also think
going to play harder.
I am in McKee's camp and Bunkus' camp where you have 1 month to go now, and that's not that long.
7 home games.
And so if you're going to eat the poop, just eat it for a month here. Just, sit out Nyes. You see Nyes, his quotes to Josh Cloak in The Athletic, he said, I'm definitely not 100%, but I'm definitely feeling pretty good. I'm not 100%, but I'm definitely feeling pretty good. In some follow-up quote about how he's just not quite there. What's the quote? I got it right here. I still feel like I can contribute. Then just don't, though. Just don't.
Or just do.
But
just do, maybe. Just, persevere. Fight through it. Learn something from it.
Yeah.
Learn something about yourself. Don't take the easy way out. I'm sorry, but there has to be some life lessons in this.
But I like that argument, but I think if you're the team, the players are always going to try or should be. I think you just get the players out of the team's
I've never seen
way.
an era where it's like, oh, he must be hurt. He must be hurt. Okay, enough of that too. Okay, Austin hasn't scored in,
12.
12?
He has 1 goal since January 27th.
Now, I don't know. Are we still, is he hurt? Are we going with that still?
No,
because he didn't look, nobody was saying he looked hurt during the Olympics.
Kyper, they're all checked out, brother. They don't, they can pretend to care and seem like they care and they say what they want to say.
I don't want that guy on my team who checks out, Sam.
But other stars after this,
So I wrote an article today. It's up on sportsnet.com, and it's on the strange state of captaincy among Canadian teams. I looked at all 7 Canadian teams and their captains and what's going on. Interesting one is Adam Lowry in Winnipeg, where he's the opposite of the Matthews guy, right? He plays $14.33 a night for them, but his thing is that he just brings it every night. right? He's not Mark Scheifele or Kyle Connor, but they know what they're going to get from him. And it's the opposite of the Matthews captaincy, where you have a face of the franchise guy, a guy who's won a Hart Trophy, a guy who isn't Adam Lowry. And so there's a case to be made that in this situation, when you're the Leafs, you'd rather have a guy like Lowry who plays like Jake McCabe and doesn't turn it off. Because I think that, yeah, Matthews is, like Nylander is, maybe like Nyes is, a guy that can check out sometimes and isn't there regardless. And they have this kind of team.
That may just explain that portion
the last 9 years
of the standings, but Austin's on pace to score the same amount of goals he had last year with, I think, 7 more games.
Yeah.
What has happened here? What is going on? It's just not checking out the last little while because you saw the standings. To Sam's point, this is like one of the best scores in the history of our game out of the gate, like falling off a cliff for 2 years now.
And so
can he still use the I'm not 100% healthy this year?
I think he can use that he's had some injuries along the way. I also think it coincides with the coach. And I'm not blaming the coach for that, but I'm saying you have to try a new coach before you try getting rid of Matthews.
Mitch Marner, with that same coach, found a way to score 100 points. Willie Nylander had a hell of a year last year.
Yeah.
Okay? But why him? Why not Austin?
Totally fair.
Why Marner? Why Willie last year under Berube? But Austin wants to go, it's the coach's fault now?
Well, no, Austin's last year was a legitimate injury. He was in Germany. He was getting work done. He was hobbled badly last year.
And this year?
Well, this year it's a lot tougher to say. This year the team's a lot worse. That's certainly part of it. You know, to me, it's never just one factor. Is the implication you're making that he's just now bad or that he's not trying? What is the implication you're making? What do you think?
Yeah, I think he's lost an edge. I think he's...
What is it? Hold on, stop. What does that mean?
He's just not hungry anymore.
You think he
he's
just
full.
cares less than he's got
just
enough
full.
individual
He's just
accolades?
Full. I don't know about that. I don't know about accolades. I don't know if it's the money thing, the security, but I don't see him with an edge. I'm watching Connor McDavid last night in Colorado.
He's just better. Everybody compares.
No, he's also in the playoffs.
He's just
tons,
way better.
No, way better.
Yes,
Stop it. Yeah, I'm going to pull up tape from you 2 years ago where you're telling me Austin Matthews is better than Connor McDavid.
Because I was an idiot. I was wrong. I don't
know where to go. After he says I'm an idiot, I'm like,
that's the point I was trying to
thanks for
prove.
coming. I'm out of here. Thank you very much. Sam's an idiot.
Do you realize that I am a diehard Leaf fan that sits here and tries to make arguments for my guys when they're playing well? Yeah. But Connor, it's just comparing him to Connor McDavid.
So
He's just not Connor McDavid.
Then. You tell me.
Although
How
he
do you
beat
go,
him in a big game
How
recently.
does Sam go from saying he's better than Connor McDavid a few years ago to he's not even close to being Connor McDavid? How do you do it? Explain it.
Connor McDavid is just clearly better. I don't know what you want me to say.
If he's fat and happy, if he's got $100 million in the bank now and a Hart Trophy and an Olympic gold medal and he's fat and happy, then he's definitely gone this summer. Because he'll just go to L.A. and not be a part of this circus as the thing spirals and they try to turn it around.
I would hope that even before the Leafs get to him to have any type of conversation, he will look himself in the mirror and start asking questions to himself.
You go, boy.
And start there. Like, what, am I content? Am I happy? Am I, like, where is that guy? Maybe he can just look in the mirror and ask himself, where was that guy from 2 years ago?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. And the one thing, too, for him, he is physically worse for sure than he was a couple years ago. He is slower by every measurable we have, and he doesn't shoot it as hard as he did when he shot it at its prime. So what's happened? People do typically, scorers, they actually decline after like 24. I know people don't believe that, but it starts to happen.
I'm right there with you.
But so I'm wondering, like,
I think it's a legit thing.
That maybe he is.
He's protecting himself a lot more than he did even 2 years ago. And maybe it's because of these little dings he's taken.
Yeah.
But he was his game, and he's never been a physical guy. We know that. but he had more
That's not true. He threw a lot of hits a couple of years. I know not physical, but like in a sense that you mean mean.
You may be right, but he had a lot more confrontation in his game a few years ago than he does now. It's like he doesn't want to get his nose dirty. It doesn't want to take a chance on getting into a scrum or telling somebody on the other team, go.
He's never done that.
No, but it's still between when the puck's dropped, you got to have some confrontation in your game.
I think it would be unprecedented, and people can correct me on this. Has anyone, like the first 8 years of his career, he was scoring at a better pace than Ovechkin, the best scorer in the history of hockey. So we're talking about this guy would be on pace for better than Ovechkin. I don't know in history that anyone has fallen off as hard, as quick as he has, and had it be just a sustainable, now he's worse immediately thing. Is there any other names in any sport?
And he's so talented that he can have this fall off and still find a way to score 30, 35 goals, right?
Yeah.
Like that's how talented he is.
Right. 30, 35 for him is blindfolded, which is basically how he's playing right now.
Barely a sweat.
Yeah.
But, I mean, to get to that level where we watched him and sometimes there'd be guys, 2 or 3 guys on his back and he'd pull them right to the net and still find a way to pull and release a shot. Like,
you better have the answer.
We don't see that guy.
You better have the answer internally to whether you think this is real and lasting, and if so, get your value, or if you think that this is just a blip that will go, God, the Berube years for Matthews were bleak, weren't they? The injuries and the coach, and you better know, or at least you better right now be watching video and checking the data. And
I was just going ahead to our mailbag again here. Somebody was they had something that was relevant to this conversation. At 26, 2017, 30-year-old Alex Ovechkin scores 33 goals in 82 games, calls of he's done across the league, scores 148 goals over his next 3 seasons, and wins a cup. Guys have down years in the middle of their careers. Even Ovechkin did. I believe that was the year maybe under Dale Hunter, remember?
Do you want to bet against it being possible?
It's just, I'm going to tell you now. I'm going to tell you right now, Kyper. They're going to, if they trade Austin Matthews this offseason,
he's 50+ auto.
Lights it up.
Next year.
Lights it up. And then we're all going to come in here, and we're all going to come in here, including you, and you'll be like, there were some mistakes made here. That is 100% going to happen.
I think, who wrote that in?
Somebody on Twitter.
Okay.
It was a
Trad Bree-Living.
Trad Bree-Living.
I think you can certainly, that's a legitimate question. That's a legitimate comment.
It was Fred Pant Pleat.
And absolutely, it's a legit concern that, don't write him off. He's young enough and he still has an amazing shot and he can come back and score 50 or 60 goals. The only thing I say to that is that I don't believe that the mental makeup between Austin and Ovechkin is even close. This guy, Ovechkin, even when he had down years, man,
loves hockey,
loves the game, shows it, wears his heart on his sleeve, emotional. And one other factor, he could run you over, man. He could squash you like a bug if he wanted to.
Best
and he did.
To ever
he
happen
often
to him
did.
Was
and
Svechnikov challenging.
I don't know. Like, we know Austin will never do that. He'll never be that guy. And at least Ovi had other elements of his game that he could buy himself time to get back there. I don't know how Austin buys himself time if he needs it, like Ovechkin could have. Now, the good news is to this mailbag guy is that
Fred Pant Pleat.
There might be 2 or 3 other teams that totally buy into that. Get him out of there. Get him on my team, and we got a guy that can score 50 or 60 goals in his prime.
Liam Ogren pack.
And then we all sit here when the Leafs suck for 7 years, and we're like, "Wow, man,
he
that
has
was
7 more years."
That was an awesome
season.
idea to trade away an MVP caliber center who scored 70 goals in the league. That was a great idea. Yeah. We nailed it.
No, there's no chance it's the right decision. You have to at least change things around him and see.
You're just the first year out of the playoffs in 10 years with him here. First offseason, gone.
Let
That's
it be known. We are not running him out of town. He should stay. Stay.
Let it be known that
I think you're speaking for us.
whether we say it or not, he holds the cards, and not even the Leafs at this point, really, because even if you wanted to trade him in June, like he controls everything.
I do think that there's no trade clause.
No trade clause.
So that's great because it would really limit your return. That's encouraging.
Yep.
Too.
That's true.
Yeah.
Anything on Bo? You want some sounds on Bo?
Let's get a.
Can I tell you, I loved Grew last night.
Grew was good.
Grew on you?
I did. I said those exact words on Leaf Talk.
You
I
did.
I didn't mean to. I said
Despicable him.
I said he grew into the game.
All
which I thought he
right.
did. There's 2 clips on Grew, boys.
All right, let's hear him.
All right, the first one is on Grew's line. Brube clip 3.
Oh, I thought he played a very good game. Yeah, I was very happy with, the young guys, him and Q and Cowboy. I thought, all played well tonight for me. Coming into this rink and, it's can be a pretty hostile environment and tough to play in, but I thought that all 3 of them were very good tonight.
Okay.
Hungry.
Yeah.
And
right?
then let's
not
hear,
full. Bellies aren't full.
Who was it? He danced there. That sick move. That was Matheson, maybe.
It was
Dobson.
It was Dobson.
Yeah.
It was Dobson. Let's play the second clip on Grew.
Like I told you in the minors, he's put up some real good numbers down there. And I was pretty impressed with a couple of plays that he did tonight and made, and challenged defensemen, beat him, and had a couple good scoring chances.
I love that player. I love the guy.
I was thinking, get him out there at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
You
You got Tavares out there. Hey, how about are we ever going to mention him again?
Tavares? John Tavares?
See, just to go back to Matthews a little bit, it hasn't helped him either that there isn't some good bats around protecting me. If I use a Blue Jay term.
Yeah.
Or a Canada baseball
great
team. We're
analogy.
currently up 2-0 on Cuba in a do-or-die game at the World Baseball Classic.
We got another Quantrill on the hill here.
Abraham Toro just hit a ball to make it 2-0. On the ice for all 3 goals against on Tuesday. Now a minus 22 over his last 20 games. John Tavares.
And I got to bring back up the fact that you guys know how I felt about this signing. Never wanted it.
You're not going to bring it
Okay.
up, but you just did?
Yeah, correct.
I said,
Okay.
if all these ingredients make a bad cake, I don't want the cake if it's cheap. It doesn't work. It didn't work. Didn't work last year for $11 million. Doesn't work this year for
Doesn't work.
4.75.
Doesn't work. Give me 5 Grews.
Give me.
Gruel? Grew.
You got it.
That's what I said.
Yes, you got it right.
But Kipper,
Laughing at the
Give me
idea.
5 of them.
we're having the same conversation here, about the tanking and whatever. I want them to call up all the Marlins.
No. Do you understand?
You want the hungry young people.
But 5 will help with the hunger and the culture, Sam.
Yeah, they had to cut
Okay?
those guys
I
to go to
don't
a
care
division
if they
rivals.
lose. I don't care if they lose. I don't care if they win. Just give me a look. And, Tavares has been an amazing pro. He's tried his best. He gave you what he had to give, but he can't play second line center for the Toronto Maple Leafs and bring this team back to contention.
No, he's at the winger portion of his career.
Okay,
Lawton should be your 3.
What is again third line do for Tavares or the team if they're one of the worst in the league?
Yeah.
You're just prolonging the inevitable I got to put someone else younger where I can look at and turn somebody into an asset.
I did for the first time wonder yesterday, for the first time in the first year of his 4-year deal, wonder if they would be like, hey, we're doing something different.
How's that back feeling?
Okay.
Yeah.
And again, you signed him to a 4-year deal, but where is the conversation of, John, we're going to do this, but if this thing goes south, just know I'm going to need you to potentially move.
Or join the player development team.
Something. But what did they do? They gave him a 2-year no-move clause. Tell me, when you knew at the trade deadline you were sellers, you're not making the playoffs, if you had John Tavares to put up at the trade week, that is a automatic first-round pick and a prospect. Automatic.
So
And-
it's
and you
no,
lost-
no trade
You
the last
lost.
2 years, eh?
You lost that ability. Why? Why
No,
did you give him that?
Is it full no move for the first two?
Full no move.
Well,
No move, pa.
I've talked about this, guys.
Well-
You needed it. You needed him to understand that I'm prepared to give you $16 million.
God, he gave out a lot of 4-year deals.
But
4 years to Domi.
I can't. Like, there's no world where we coincide here if we are out of the playoffs. And yet now next year you're going to go back to him and put him at second line center.
I mean, does Stenberg play center? Otto Stenberg? Can we get? I mean, I agree with you, Kip. It doesn't fit where you're at now.
I just
Very quickly that went south.
I just have a hard time killing JT. For
Yeah, put
taking
him on the
half
wing,
price.
and if you're a good team, and he's your winger
He's the
on
one
the
guy,
third line. All
one
right.
guy that wanted to commit and stay.
Again, honestly,
I'm not going to kill him. You can't.
See,
but-
So noble of you.
Yeah, noble of you. And this is part
Not
of the
noble,
problem,
anything.
Sam. This is part of the problem. So people don't want to trade Nyes because he gave him a discount at 7.5 on a long-term deal.
Yeah.
And it's like, but that's putting Nyes and JT ahead of the team. And I can't have that.
Well, all I ever hear from
Don't.
any ever player that goes on any sports talk radio show is that it sucks so bad here. No one ever wants to come here and blah, 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 blah. So when two guys are like, yeah, I love it here. I'll take less to stay here. As a fan, I do appreciate that a little bit. It does matter. When you come on here and be like, no one's ever going to come to this city ever again.
Okay.
I do, as a fan, appreciate the fact that those guys are willing to do that.
Just
so I give them a little bit more grace.
keep in mind
What's wrong with
next
that?
year, because
Does he want to be here
not
for the hockey
helping.
team or because he
It's
has
not-
family here?
Thank you. Thank you. Like,
'Cause he loves
are
the Leafs.
We're giving credits to guys who love the jersey. Well, we all love the jersey, but some of us help them lose too, right? And it's like, I can't be ahead of what's best for the team. That's
Okay.
all, right?
Okay.
We should break.
Sure.
Okay. Are we going to get accused of, like, driving players out
We
of
are
the city?
talking about where the
That's-
team is at. They put us
Hey.
in this predicament.
It's it's the worst place in the world here. I mean, but judging by the weather today, I actually agree. I'd rather be anywhere else, but yeah, it's the hardest place to play in the world.
This can turn around. I'm not telling you how long it'll be, but this can turn around. Okay, let's take a quick break, and then we got Sammy's mailbag, and he kind of cheated. He threw in a couple already in the first block.
They were relevant.
Have you got many?
I got 100.
we got
Oh,
action.
no.
We got action.
Okay, back after these words. Real Kyper and Bourne. Welcome back. It's the Real Kyper and Bourne Show. Leaf Hour edition as we go to Sammy's mailbag. Let's keep it positive.
Sam just
Sammy.
did an ice bucket challenge.
Okay.
He's refreshed. He's
Come
back.
on, Sammy.
I thank my lucky stars I get to come in and do this every day.
It's a blast.
This is my absolute dream job, and I'm not even saying that. This is unbelievable. I love yelling with you, Kip. There's nothing like it.
That's talk radio, baby.
Oh, yeah. So
absolutely.
this is one that kind of alludes to something I wanted to ask you guys about, so it's perfect. This is from Brandon Graham on X. What do we have to do to get some heart on this team? A rookie gets crushed, and it took Robertson skating over, and then McMahon finally went and did something. At this point in the season, it should have just been all hands on deck. We are gutless. The Bolts or Buffalo would bury us. Here's a question I have. And I brought this up to Bunk last night on Leafs Talk, and I wanted to ask you too. Can they just call up a mutant?
Was Pizzetta still in the system?
Like, can they just, who's leading the AHL in penalty minutes? Just call that team, minor league transaction, call them up, and just, like, you suck anyway. I know it's not the big, I know it's not the deterrent it used to be,
not
but like,
that's simple. Okay. And especially in 2026.
I just hated seeing Cowan get
that might have
spanked
worked.
like that.
That might have worked in my era where you just call up the meanest, biggest, toughest guy, you sit him on the bench, and you kind of showcase him like he's some nuclear war that you're ready to push the button on.
Yeah.
It's just not realistic now in 2026.
But like, do you not think that, Cowan's going to play a ton here down the stretch. He's 18 years old. He looks 14. These guys, it's a green light for them to tee off on him.
A great thing either.
Why not?
18, 20 minutes for him every night.
He looked awesome. He was the best player.
I know, but he's still not close to being physically where he needs to be.
But
he gets bounced around a little bit.
What's his best usage?
I'm not saying it's 18 every night, but it's certainly not 9 or 10.
Yeah.
But just be careful with him. Just understand that, like, it's a development thing. And the other thing you got to keep in mind too is, like, they're still young, they're impressionable. He starts playing 18 minutes a night, whether he deserves it or not. Can also, it's not necessarily a good thing either to sit there and make him feel like he's now the next star.
No,
like,
you got to earn it.
You got to be careful here.
That was a big Sutter thing.
Can't
give it to remember the fuss over
Can't.
Jacob Peltier in Calgary? People are like, why aren't you playing this kid?
Yeah.
He hasn't earned it yet.
Blake,
thank you.
Listen, Blake Smith leading the Marlies in penalty minutes. D-man. Nail gun down there. Get him up here. There's just no toughness on the team. And I know it's a Neanderthal take, but they just have nobody that's going to do anything.
They had this window.
Call up Blake.
They had this window, right, of some money that Mitch Marner left $12 million on the table, and they filled it up with Michelli. They brought Max back for $3 million, Nick Waugh, and Joshua Dakota. So
Joshua
Josh
Yoda over there.
That's his
Dakota Joshua.
Dakota Joshua. I'm sorry. I always get Well, first of all, don't have two first names. Okay? Don't, please. I'm 60. I've been hit in the head. I'm going to screw it up. But okay, so there's your $12 million for Mitch that you slotted in, and who's the tough guy in there? Who's
Pizzetta, who they gave a 2-year contract to?
He must not be any good this year.
I don't know what happened. Like, you had him penciled in. I thought for sure he's going to start game 1.
The guy's played like 200 NHL games.
Not a sniff.
Not even a thought.
So, like, if you need, go find those guys.
So here's my counter to that, but I also kind of believe in it. When fans say they want toughness, they don't want you to go get the nuclear guy who sits on the bench and doesn't play. What you're jealous of is the teams whose players are good, who play, who have toughness. You're jealous of Sam Bennett. You're jealous of Matthew Tkachuk and those guys who play with that edge.
You're jealous of a 41-year-old Corey Perry.
I'm obviously jealous of that. I get that.
I know.
But I wouldn't have been calling this if they were good.
But
they
I'm
suck anyway.
Generally, that's fine for the rest of the year. But generally, the Leafs have led the NHL. And I actually might go back and write this over the Matthews Marner era here, in big but with no teeth at all. It's Nick Waugh and it's Justin Hall and it's Freddie Gauthier. They have had the longest list of Brandon Carlo of huge guys who aren't interested in that action. So they got big. They went and got Waugh this offseason. Joshua, hate to break it to you, he doesn't want to do it. He got beat up by Mark Giordano when they played him here.
Last night, Jack Guy is just punching him at the end of the game. He doesn't want to do anything.
Doesn't want to do it.
No, has no.
There is no better example of McMahon, who
he talked himself into it a few times this
big
year.
and strong, and at times showed just a little bit of it.
Because he knows he
That
should.
guy played himself to Seattle. He could have been huge here. If he would have just shown up a couple of times and even fake it till you make it.
He did a couple times.
Not enough, Sam, because he's gone.
But he did do a couple times.
He talks himself into it a few times, for sure.
He fought a
got
couple
himself
times
traded
this year, I
out.
think.
Okay, he got himself traded out because he didn't do it enough, and listen. You could still end up with $4.5 million a year, but you could have easily had it here in Toronto. Easily.
How about
if you just would have showed up a lot more than once every 5 or 6 games with a little bit of edge?
How about Steven Lorentz? He's one of the biggest guys on the team. How about Philip Myers? He's a giant too.
They don't want to do it.
They have the hugest soft team. So my point is, you don't want this nuclear option. You want guys. You'd rather have smaller guys who got some teeth.
I'd like to see some chaos in a hockey game.
For the next, you're talking about the next
for the
17
month.
games. I'm talking about team
Period.
building going forward.
Yes, 100%. But they tried the tough guys too, kind of in the bottom 6. They tried Simmons and they tried bringing in guys that were tougher, and you
can't have guys that used to do it and don't want to anymore.
You
just
just
want to come
End of
play
your
in Toronto.
career.
Um,
No, can't have those guys. Got to find them young.
This is from Chucky Picks on Twitter. If the Leafs do make a GM change at the end of the season, do you think Pridham gets a shot at the big job this time, or will bringing in another good hockey man named Doug up to speed, as rumors suggest?
No chance, I think, that it would go to Pridham, who wears this too. He's a part of this. You're in the room now.
Is
If you
he
got something to say, speak up.
Is he hiding anything right now? Like, is he I'm saving my secrets for when it's my job?
Yeah.
I think, first of all, that to Justin's point, like if you've been that guy that can do the math on the salary cap, good on you. But like, there's just no experience there to take on this type of job.
I do think he would be capable of it. I just think you've been here and it hasn't worked. So maybe somewhere else he gets it.
Yeah, but the answer is no.
I also do think, Kip, that because he is so uniquely versed at that whoever's next here might keep him.
And the other thing too is like, whether you need an experienced guy or a guy that you can work with, the whole perception, the media perception, all of it has got to be on top of his game. Mm-hmm. Like, there were times this year where I think the left hand of Brad Treliving and the right hand of Berube has caused us to go, do you guys talk? And that's through the media. Mm-hmm. It was everything through the media.
Right.
And that can't happen. You got a guy like Pridham who's, I don't know, how many interviews has he ever had in his life? Like, you're going to stick him now to be the face and the general manager of the Toronto Maple Leafs? Come on.
But I think there's something to be said for, I don't know, maybe you just end up with Dubas again, but like the big flashy hockeyman, that maybe like talking about players that are young and hungry, like Darsh, for example, where they went and got a guy from a really established front office. Like Zito was it's just bringing in the big blustery name isn't always, and I'm not suggesting even Pridham, but if they're going to do some work here, Keith Pelly and co are going to do some work in finding. Can you go talk to Tampa? Can you go talk to the smart front offices, Colorado? Like, find somebody.
I think that's a really interesting point.
They can't be the go-to. Maybe have a president above it, but have a young, sharp Dubas. Like, I know it sounds like I'm saying Dubas, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think then who or how they make that decision, who's involved in that decision-making process is going to be something to watch too.
If anybody's listening, we're got the World Baseball Classic on in here. Bo Naylor just ripped an RBI double, makes it 3-1 Canada in the top of the 6th inning against Cuba. They win this game. They advance out of the pool play for the first time in the history of the Canadian team at the World Baseball Classic.
Canada in the World Cup soccer. We're alive in baseball.
How long has they've been doing this World Baseball thing?
It's a good question. I think maybe there's been 5 of them and they do it every 2 years. Maybe it's 10 years or 12 years. It's been a while now. No, it's longer than that. I think it's 2006.
It's quite popular with the players.
Because I went to a game at the Dome, Canada versus the States once, and it was
If
unbelievable.
we get Canada, U.S., will it feel like the Four Nations?
Do you think they would have if U.S. won? Oh, the U.S. is not winning. I shouldn't even mention that. I think they might miss not even the quarters.
Anyways, we're doing baseball talk here, but they lost to Italy last night when their manager thought that they were already through. Mark DeRosa thought they were already through to the quarters. They lose at 8-6, and now they're in some trouble.
Yeah,
Okay, for the record on YouTube chat, Sammy brought up baseball. I didn't.
We're getting close, baby. Opening day is like 2 weeks away.
Nice.
Yeah, man.
You got the players this weekend for the golf.
Oh, buddy. March Madness, Masters, playoff hockey that doesn't involve
Almost
the
to the
Leafs. We're
sweet
right
spot.
there, boys. We're right there. We're right there.
All right, what else you have for us?
I think we got to go.
Oh, do we?
I don't know. I think so.
Squeak
It's
in
getting-
one more. Squeak in
No,
one.
it's that time.
Who are the first 3 players you're
No,
signing?
we gotta
with
go
UFA
right
North
now.
Toronto? Oh. UFA, who do you like?
Okay, thanks to everybody
Alex Tuck.
for Sammy's mailbag.
Alex Tuck.
What about him?
Let's get him.
Did he sign?
Sure. No, let's get him here in Toronto.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, let's work on David Amber first.
Sure.
In studio. Am I correct on that?
You are correct, my friend.
Oh, I love
Stud in
DA.
studio.
He's up next. Don't go away. Just warming up as we go national next on the Real Kyper and Bourne Show. All right, let's get her going coast to coast here on the Real Kyper and Bourne show. Do we give Sammy the
Jaja, where are you?
walk of shame for our boy Sammy?
We need Jaja.
Give him a thumbs up on YouTube, please, for Sammy. Walk of shame. Sammy, what jersey are you going with? Yeah,
Oilers?
we got to go Oilers. Big win last night in Colorado.
Yeah. I mean, I just have no doubt that team is still that team
Ooh.
when it gets to these games.
We are live on Sportsnet. Sportsnet
Ooh,
650 in
yay.
Vancouver, Sportsnet 960 in Calgary, streaming always on Sportsnet Plus, also available Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. This hour of Real Kyper and Bourne brought to you by Bet365 as we welcome in a very dapper,
Nice suit.
very dapper DA. Is
Professional today for once.
that what we call you? David Amber, welcome aboard.
How you guys doing?
We're good, pal. How are you?
I'm doing well. Spring is here. I love it. Sunlight, right? Well, no sunlight today, but this,
Been a nice week.
brightness till 7:30 or whatever. Like we needed it badly.
Tonight, Scotiabank Wednesday Night Hockey, Montreal Canadiens and the Ottawa Senators. Certainly huge implications, especially for the Ottawa Senators who try to find a way, David, to hang in there without Jake Sanderson.
Yeah, it's a big loss, right? It's a really big loss. But you saw their first game back without Sanderson.
Yeah.
Reimer, a 16, 17 save shutout. They're insulating their goalies. They were horrible. The whole storyline with Ottawa this year, as you guys know, is the save percentage and just how miserable it's been. And if they have 900 save percentage or better, they're like 20 wins and 2 losses.
Right,
You
yeah.
had that on the show
Yeah.
not too long ago. They're finally getting the saves. Allmark's been good. Reimer, when he's been thrown in, has been quite good. They're second in goals against since the end of January, like since the middle end of January, as opposed to dead last in the league. So they're a good team. I went on record saying, you guys will love this kind of goofy hot take. If they make the playoffs, I'm picking them to come out of the East. I don't think it's that crazy a notion.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about that. Buffalo as well, if they're smoking hot here, certainly over a longer stretch than Ottawa's.
Been amazing.
You just got to wonder how many people would make them maybe a favorite. I don't know where it stands with Tampa Bay and how you feel about that. Is it just simply Vasilevsky or bust for them? But you could sit there and say, well, questionable goaltending in Ottawa too at the end of the day.
East is wide open, though, right?
Wide open.
Guys, like
Totally.
this is why you like for me, some of the teams on the cusp there. I'm like, yeah, make a move at trade deadline if it's not going to sacrifice your future because it is wide open. I think more so than any year I can remember, being the top seed, the second seed, the third seed, it's pretty immaterial. Like we saw last year, the Jets were the best team. They came within 2 seconds of being eliminated by the number 8 seed.
Yeah.
A few years ago, Florida, when Boston had that
135 point season.
Yeah, the biggest disparity between 2 seeds ever in a playoffs where the lower seed won. There were 47 points
And
behind.
Columbus swept Tampa the one year that Tampa had 126 points.
There you go. Kucherov got thrown out at the end of that series. I remember that well. So I think more than ever, the margins are so small, as you guys know, and whether it's Ottawa, Buffalo, I mean, this is what's making the playoff potential of the playoffs really exciting, specifically in the East. When you have all these teams, Detroit hasn't been there in 7, 8, 9 years now. Obviously, Buffalo 14 years, and Ottawa, if they can kind of climb in, it's wide open. I think it's gonna be fun.
So one of my favorite things when I get to do the Wednesdays with you guys is you guys meet on Monday mornings, you sit on a call and say, "Ooh, what do you think? What do you know about this team? What do you like? Well, what are potential topics for the night?" For me, Ottawa being one of the best defensive teams in the NHL is certainly part of that. Buffalo not. But so when you guys are having that conversation this week and you're looking at this matchup tonight, was that the main thing that stood out was Ottawa's defense, or were there other things that you were like, all right, this is must mention tonight for these teams?
Montreal, I mean, they're one of the sexiest teams in the league.
They
right?
are.
They're young, they're fun. We talked about in Toronto the core 4 for so long. Think about this: Hudson, Caulfield, Suzuki, Slavkovsky, Demidov. I mean, they have kind
None
of
of
this,
them make $8 million.
No, this is the thing. Great value. This team could be good for a long, long time, and they seem to be incredibly tight. Sorry, Sam. We're crushing Sam over there. But they're so fun to watch, right? They are really fun to watch, and we saw how good they could be. That first period versus the Leafs last night, they were so dominant. I know they were only up 2-0, but it cocould have been 5-0. Like they were that good in the first period.
Are you okay, DA, on them not doing much at the trade deadline? Because we did hear some noise at the 3 p.m. deadline 24 hours later. Not naming any names.
Stirring it up.
Tell us, DA, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not going to pretend to know more than Kent Hughes and Jeff Gordon and those guys. Would I have liked them to have done something? Potentially. It all depends what the deals were offered to them and what they were offering, right? I think they maybe are looking at it in a longer, more measured approach. Like, we're going to be good for a long time. We don't have to go all chips in and get rid of some high prospects or some draft capital to add a guy who's a rental or someone who's maybe making more money than we think they should be making and to try and make that run. I also think you got to remember, right? Newhook missed a huge chunk of time. Doc missed a whole bunch of time. They're probably, at different times they've had some defensemen out. They're probably looking at it as like, we had our own injury reserve coming back, and they're still waiting on Line A, whether he'll be, as effective as he's been a few years ago. We don't know. But my point is, I think they sort of said internally we can maybe fill these gaps without having to cost ourselves in the future, which I think is a pretty measured approach. And they might think they're good enough to win without making any moves.
Yeah. I guess my only counterpoint is we just said how open it is. It felt like a year that if you did that thing, it could be the year that you give yourself that edge.
There could be regret. If they lose in the first round, Kyper, there could be some serious regret. Like, oh, shoot, we could have added A, B, and C, and we decided not to, and we weren't enough.
If their goaltending gets filled in, it will very likely come up. So while we're talking goaltending and Canadian teams, the Edmonton Oilers found it last night. They beat the Colorado Avalanche, got a win. Now, are you a believer that this is still the same team we've seen the last couple of years? They're going to be back. They're going to be in it again, or do you think they're worse? Because it's been worse, but they still look pretty good.
Listen, it's hard. Like, I'm never going to bet against 29 and 97. I'm just not.
That's kind of what everyone's going on.
But having said that, it's been a struggle this year. But maybe they're taking a page right out of Florida's handbook. Who cares what we do in the regular season? We just got to win 4 out of 7 4 times in a row.
Tremendous heat on Stan Bowman going into the trade deadline, and Connor Murphy, I think, had 21 minutes last night, and Dickinson looks like a guy that could play in certain situations against top lines. Doc, I think, got hurt last night and only played a couple of minutes, but it has given them a jolt, at least post trade deadline.
Absolutely. Now, did you guys see the collision, MacKinnon and Ingram?
Yeah.
I didn't think that was a 5.
I'm with you.
Like, Darnell Nurse was retreating and kind of left him no lane, and I don't think he was maliciously going to the net. I think he was actually trying.
I think he jumps out over and out of the way, and if it wasn't for the nudge.
Yeah.
But I'm shocked because we know how the league feels about its stars.
Yeah.
And I think they could have easily been talked out of it with a 5-minute major.
Yeah.
They didn't. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of hit and miss around the net these days.
Yeah.
And not that I knew
better
anything.
to err on the side. Oh, here we go. Better to err on the side of protecting the goaltenders when we can, I think.
It's been around for
it's hard contact
since the mid-'90s when somebody took out a Hall of Famer.
Did that happen?
No names to be mentioned, but it's been a challenge for the league over the years to really find a happy medium when it comes to protecting the goalies and not,
any word on Ingram, by the way?
Completely untouchable.
Like that was as violent collision
like
with a goalie as I've seen in a long time.
I'm really surprised that Nate didn't give a bigger fight to the officials to stay in the game. I don't know. To me, he looked like,
well, he got a 10-minute misconduct. He said something.
He said something, but we've seen that fire in him on many occasions, either with a coach or a teammate on the bench. I thought I was really surprised he didn't fight harder.
He might have been in shock.
Might have been.
He kind of was like, really? That just happened?
Yeah.
That feels like a series we could see in the conference final.
The series I want to see is Tampa and Buffalo. You guys saw the game on the weekend.
Oh
That's the series I want to see.
And that was the other night. That was with no Stanley and Luke Shen yet.
Yeah.
Right. And I was saying this to Sam about how important it is to have the toughness come from your guys who actually play. You watch that game. It's Brandon Hagel running into guys, Rasmus Dahlin's in the fight. It's the guys who are skilled, talented, top picks that are still like, no,
leading the charge in the energy.
Right. Yeah. And I also think it's a great show of respect from Tampa to go at Buffalo like that. They always push and test, and all right, you're going to be a real matchup here. What do you got?
We know
that's
divisions.
Tampa's MO. That's right. That's Tampa's MO is like, who wants to get into the backyard and go here?
Yeah. So. It's become it, certainly.
It was a hard lesson the last few years because it was Florida that stuck it to John Cooper and his team. Yeah. And John Cooper says, no, we're gonna copy that blueprint.
Can do some of that.
And that's exactly what's happened here. They've become the new Florida Panthers.
Yeah. I think so. I do think so. I wonder if it'll have the same degree of success. We'll wait and see. If you were to make me pick a favorite, even though I'm saying Ottawa, if you're to say, who's the betting favorite to come out of the East right now, I would say Tampa ahead of Carolina. That's the team. You mentioned Montreal not doing anything. Carolina not okay. Nick, no knock on Nick Delorier, but I mean like doing something discernible.
He would agree that doesn't count.
Why didn't they do something? I still don't understand it. Right? Like
everything I hear about Carolina is that they're big fish hunting. Like they're always looking for the next guy they can get who will stay, the big move. And it's hard for them. I think that they're probably on a lot of no trade lists. And they have to manage that, right?
Anyone I've talked to that has either worked for the team or played for the team, they love it there.
Yeah.
They love it there. But for some reason, they can't land now for a couple of years a big fish, like you said.
Yeah.
And whether or not, and I know you guys have had it on the board that close to 40% of the no trade, the no move. I know you were a big part of our trade deadline day. You sat there for hours twiddling your thumbs.
Yeah.
But, for the most part, there are some teams I think that need to be concerned on how can we get better if we're getting waved off on many occasions. Is that what happened to Carolina?
How can you make your organization more appealing, you mean?
Well, not just appealing,
guys
but
to stick.
because
the last 2 years, Gensel and then Rantanen.
That's right.
And so they did do the big game hunting.
Yes. Right.
They landed the big fish, and then the fish jumped out of the boat. You know, essentially is what happened.
Yeah. Overall, I know you've done an amazing job over the years, but how was your day? Trade deadline day? And
How was your guys'
what
day?
were
Oh,
you-
my God. It was
what-
a
we
lot of...
came on at
what is
5
that? Yeah.
and nothing happened
Yeah.
till
Well,
4.
at 4 o'clock, I mean, that was as late. Like 2 years ago, or last year, I guess, we had Marchand right at 2:59, and this year it was at Kadri at 4. Maybe she's, kind of
Shift the hours.
We'll bring our show on at 1 o'clock until 4:30.
So I have talked about maybe tweaking it or, between the league and the Players Association because it's a CBA thing too, right?
Yeah.
Including no trades and no moves. But you think as an industry, we got to revisit this day?
Well, but Nick, you were a player, and the players they earn those rights, and it's become sort of standard. Like, you don't even have to be a superstar. And this is no disrespect to anyone, but I'll give you an example. Like Dakota Joshua comes to the Leafs, and he's getting a limited no trade. I'm just using his name because he's a recent signing. Guys are coming over, and it's like some guys have 5, some guys have 10, some guys have 13, and it seems reasonable because if you're not going to do it, they're going to do it, the other team. And the agents are able to hold that over the teams. Well, we want this, or else we're going to Team X. Do we have to examine that? Someone put out a tweet. I thought it was interesting. I can't remember who. I wish I could credit them. They sort of said we should max the limit of players on a team. Let's say 5 guys on your team could have no movement, limited no movements, and that's it. So after you've used those 5 spaces, 6th guy, sorry, we've used all those spaces. You come here. We'd love to do it for you, but we can't because player X already has it. That way, at least there's always a churn of players. I mean, it's fun from a fan's perspective to be able to retain players. It's nice to see a guy like Ovechkin who his whole career in Washington, et cetera. But it's also nice to be able to, oh my God, we traded for blank and he's coming to our team and it's going to be amazing now. And that we kind of missed that mark in the last couple of years, I think.
Yeah.
Speaking of Ovechkin, you were one of the first to predict that he was going to break Wayne Gretzky's record. You're also predicting that he'll retire at the end of the year.
That I'm not so sure of. I thought he was going to stick around for another few years. He has 24 goals, right? Like he's still producing, Kyper, right? Like he's still good.
Yeah.
But what you think his love of the game? The Carlson thing might have really shook him.
I think he's on the ice for more power play time than anyone in the league. Statistically, he is.
Somebody's got to be.
4.5 minutes per game.
Yeah.
Not just that, he hasn't taken a defensive zone draw this year. I saw that, and I was like, "Oh my God, that's
like they're legitimately as much as you
They're
can
insulating him.
elevate a guy. They're doing it.
What we don't think that we'll see if he does come back next year is a full season retirement tour. Kopitar in Los Angeles has been one of the few that announced his retirement and still comes back for a full year, whether you agree with it or not. You see a scenario like that happening?
Ovi getting his flowers. Wayne did it just for the last 8 games or something?
I think even less than that, if I'm not mistaken.
It might have been right before his last game at Edmonton.
He did it in Ottawa. If I'm almost 100% sure he did it in Ottawa, and then within maybe a week.
So it was pretty quick.
Feels like
went
Sid's
down to
going to be
MSG.
Mike Bossy, and he's just going to randomly retire and move to a cabin in the woods, and we'll never hear from him again or
I hope
something.
not.
There's no chance he's doing that sort of thing.
No, I don't know. Is that in Ovechkin's DNA? I don't think he shies away from the fanfare, but I don't think he sits there and says, "Look at me, I'm so great" all the time either. I don't know, and I'd have no problem with it because I think he's earned it. I think you're the greatest goal scorer in the hardest game in the world. You earn however you want it, whatever terms you want to be celebrated or what makes you feel good. I think you earn that right, just like Sid has earned that right. And there's a handful of guys who, hey, great, good on you. You know?
I'm going to turn the page on Ovechkin if you guys are good on that. Vegas Golden Knights, 6 of 7. They've lost now. That one is, we talked about the good teams, Colorado, Edmonton, where they're at. This was a team that was supposed to be one of the Cup favorites this year, and in a soft division this year, feels like should be running away with it. Yeah. What do you make of what's going on there? Is it as simple as just can't get a save?
Yeah, I mean, it feels that way, right? I think Ottawa's dead last still in save percentage. I want to say Vegas is 31st. You'd have to check, but if they're not 31st, they might be 40th.
They're down there.
It's felt like that. It's felt like this is also a team. There are a lot of veterans on that team, and that's not just to discount it, but they might be taking kind of the adage of, look, we got to get to the playoffs. We know we got to go through.
Sorry, they're 30th. Florida's 31st.
Florida's 31st now. Yeah. Wow.
I know.
So where's Vegas?
They're 30th.
30th. Okay,
yeah,
there
so
you
it's
go.
Ottawa, Florida, Vegas.
Wow.
Edmonton is right. Is the next one.
You know what's compelling, guys, is we know Minnesota, Dallas, Colorado. That's Stanley Cup final stuff we're going to see in both the first and second round, right?
Yeah.
Whoever, like Colorado, I assume is going to win the first round, and they're going to play the winner of that other matchup. Whoever's waiting in the Pacific, it happened last year. I was in Edmonton and Dallas for that conference final, and Dallas had the home ice advantage. Dallas, won game one. Everything was pointed to them, and they credit to Oilers, they ran out of gas. Yeah. They looked beaten up and beaten down. And I wonder if that's going to replicate itself. I wonder if Vegas or even Anaheim or Edmonton get through that Pacific. I wonder if that path is just going to be so much cleaner and easier. I don't know. Mm-hmm. That's the one thing.
Yeah, the 3 teams that you mentioned, unfortunately, none of them playing Canada. We know how you feel about your Canadian markets.
We should all feel that way.
Kip asked the other day, could we have 0 in playoffs? I was like, oh, my God. Could need 2 major collapses.
Come on.
Could we give Edmonton some credit for bouncing back right now? And the Montreal Canadiens, you still have 4?
I'm hopeful.
Right?
The loss by Winnipeg last night kind of hurt. But
you believe Justin brought it up before last night's game. I said, he goes, Winnipeg's still in it.
You could squint and make it work, but it's
they're
getting
27th in the league, and they're still in it. That's how bad the West is. The top 3 in the West have been the best 3 in the league, and then everyone else has been mediocre, like from Vegas, Edmonton down. It's just they're 27th in the league, and they're right there. They have a lot of home games. They have an easy schedule, Winnipeg. They don't have much margin of error. Like when you're 5 points out, what do they have, 17, 18 games? They're going to have to go
They got 19 games left.
So they're going to have to go 15-4.
Yeah.
Which is a lot.
That would get you to 92 points. They could probably go 14-5.
Or 14-5. And they're still in it. Ottawa, though, I think Boston has a horrible schedule, almost 2/3 on the road. Yeah. I think they're hearing those footsteps. Columbus, keep an eye on them too. But I think Ottawa, I'm feeling good about Ottawa's chances. I really am. And that would get to 3, and 4 would just be gravy at this point.
Yeah,
but boy, it's felt different than last year. Last year was 5. Remember how good it felt? Yeah. And this year, 4 would still feel
last year was 5, and Calgary actually had 96 points and tied for the final spot and then missed on a tiebreak.
In fact, Vancouver at the trade deadline was 1 point out. I was looking that up last week. So you had all 7 teams playing meaningful games right up to the end, and this year it's just been a different story.
Okay, I can't get away from this segment without at least talking about the Toronto Maple Leafs, and if you were in charge, DA, how do you turn this thing around?
I think you have some really serious conversations this summer, conversations that may have already taken place unbeknownst to me. But, this is the time where you have to evaluate everything. Everything's on the table. Last year, you can kind of preface it by going, well, we were, 1 period away from knocking off the defending champs. You could sell yourself on hope. This year, I don't think you could sell yourself on any of that. And when I say serious conversations, whether it's with your top players who have those no movement clauses, I think you really have to identify, are you ready there could be some pain ahead. This might not be an instant, down and up like we've seen with some other teams in the last 10 years, right? Tampa had the swoon and then they came right up. Boston seemingly had a 1-year swoon and they're relevant again. Montreal, dead last in the NHL, and now look at them 3 years later. They're going to be good for a long, long time. it's going to take probably some big moves to get the Leafs stockpiled the way I think they need to be to sort of say sustained good team.
Right.
And out of this cap hell, right? And the cap's moving up, as you guys know. I think all those things could play in. But those are the serious conversations, whether it's with Willie, Austin. And it's not a matter of we're trading you. It's a matter of how do you view this? And, do you want to be here under what could be tougher circumstances? And then you can make those decisions accordingly.
Is there an argument that like Vancouver and Toronto are kind of in the same boat because they are our two biggest markets in the country?
Yeah.
Montreal.
Vancouver by numbers.
Yeah,
Is that right?
Vancouver
Yeah.
by numbers.
Oh, I did not know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Vancouver seems to be at peace, at least for the time being. I may be wrong, but it just seems like they're now settled in for a major rebuild. What about the Leaf fans for you? I mean, you live in this market, so
You think asking Sam these tough questions.
do you
Sam, you ready for a rebuild?
do you think 2 or 3 years, even 4 years?
It's too hard to say because let's say they did trade one of these big pieces and got back a whole haul, and let's say some of those guys were ready. Like let's say they traded. I don't want to start playing. I don't want to get Twittered
You're on
here.
this show. This is what happens.
Right, but I mean, let's say they traded one of their two big parts. What if they traded whether it's Willie or Austin, and you got a big package back, and you could. And I'm not saying they should do this. I'm just saying, what if? Like, would I rather the 69 goal or something that looks like the 69 goal Austin Matthews than trading him 100%? But now we're 2 years into him not being that guy. So you have to evaluate all those things, right? And you could quickly, Mark Bergevin deserves a bit of credit because he helped stock the cabinets before he left. And Kent Hughes has been sensational, right? Like making not just deals, the drafting they've done, Hudson, Caulfield, etc. And the fact that they were able to turn some of these draft picks into the Kirby Docs, like trading draft picks for Doc and making these big moves. And within quick order, Montreal has used a blueprint that's worked really well.
Yeah.
Do the Leafs have the assets to do that? Potentially they do.
I mean, it would be very hard to, long rebuild to go Montreal's way. You talked about 3 years out of playoffs. That could be painful. So let me ask you then. So then the next 5 games for the Toronto Maple Leafs are all against playoff teams. Anaheim, Buffalo, Minnesota, Islanders, Carolina. They could get to that bottom 5. Do you think that that's the right answer for them to try to get down there, get a top pick, or do you rather just pay the piper right up front here? And
Colby said last night, and I thought he was referring to Calgary and Toronto, like lose with dignity. Play hard, but if you lose with dignity, but lose.
So
you hear
dress
that,
them
Sam?
dress some
Did you
American
hear
League
that,
kids
Sam?
who will play with dignity.
How
about that?
I think you'd rather get that. First of all, talking to the people who know Jason Bukala, Sam Cosentino, they describe this as a very top-heavy draft. The 5-6 picks are going to be really guys you can count on. And I don't want to say generational, but like Gavin McKenna, this Veerhoff kid, the defenseman in the Western League, Sternberg, who we saw out in the World Juniors. He was the best player at the World Juniors. If the Leafs could somehow manage themselves into the top 3, it's going to really accelerate what you're talking about here. And I get it. It'd be unprotected in 2028, I believe, right?
The next season.
Yeah, you just kick it down the
road, but you're hopeful that you kind of can find a bit of a resurgence. And I think, bird in the hand. If you can get a quality player in the hand, I don't know what 2028's draft year draft looks like at this point. But we know, based on the experts, this upcoming draft is going to be quite good. So to me, I think the best thing, it behooves the Leaf fans to say, let's win a few games. Playoffs aren't happening. You might as well bottom out. You don't want to be in the murky middle, and you don't want to Tyler Seguin 2.0. You don't want, with the 6th overall pick, the Boston Bruins select.
Yeah.
Right? And you're holding the bag.
Guy who kills you for a decade.
A guy who kills you for a decade. So,
well, if the trade deadline left us anything, it was that like the draft and free agency could be very interesting
in Buffalo. It's going to be quite a scene, and we could have Canadian teams picking 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll wait and see.
Truly. Yeah, man, that's crazy. I think we got to get DA off
and running, right?
Yeah, we're on. What we're on? We're on at 7:00 Eastern.
Pregame, 7:30 puck drop or 7:35.
And this is a big game. And if you haven't had a chance to watch Montreal and Ottawa, they've had 2 overtime games already this year. It's been pretty good hockey, and both teams. Montreal's desperate for home ice. Mm-hmm. That would make a big difference for them. And Ottawa, as we know, 5 points out. Is it 5 points? Yeah, 5 points out. 2 teams to climb past. They need these points.
Huge game for the Sens.
It is Scotiabank Wednesday Night Hockey on Sportsnet Montreal and Ottawa, where you can find this man with his lovely panel tonight.
Yeah.
Have a great show, pal.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Thanks for joining
Enjoy.
us.
David Amber, studio host, NHL on Sportsnet, Hockey Night in Canada. All right, take a quick break, and we return. We bring back our Sammy McKee. Back after these words. Welcome back to the program. Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee. A reminder, this hour of Real Kyper and Bourne brought to you by Bet365. I did ask you during the break if they're doing the video challenges for balls and strike. We just saw a Cuban pitcher strike out a Canadian player.
Owen Casey, rung him up outside corner.
He looked really ticked off.
It was very cool. It was right there.
Didn't challenge it because he can't. Why wouldn't they put it in this thing?
I don't know. I'm really petrified about this ABS coming into baseball. We've talked about this in hockey, that more video review and more review does not necessarily mean better. Just because it's right doesn't mean it's necessarily better. And I'm picturing, okay, let's say, for example, the Toronto Blue Jays are lucky enough to get back to the playoffs this year, and they're in a huge game. It's a Sunday afternoon at the Dome. Bases are loaded. You got Aaron Judge at the dish. And let's say Dylan Cease rings one up in the outside corner. Umpy pulls the cord. Whole building goes bananas. And then it's like, we got to go up to this stupid screen to check out something that's been the same thing for 100 years in this sport. It's like, we're really doing this? We're really doing this?
And
you know I'm right. You're going to hate it.
Can we do something besides tapping your head? Like, am I watching grown men play Simon Says?
I guess
it's so stupid. I'm petrified of it. It's totally ruining the flow.
I guess. What do we need the ump for at all?
Yeah, to call 1 and 2.
No, but just like we can't just have the machine be like green light, red light on strike ball?
One of the core values of baseball is guys getting things wrong and arguing about it and just kicking dirt. It's like, now we got to have the robots ruin it again.
I can recall conversations in hockey where it's like, you're going to tell me we're going to award a Stanley Cup on a puck over the glass?
Yes.
Yeah.
People were freaking out back then.
Yeah.
Yes.
And now it's like, yeah, it's a penalty.
I actually think that Sam makes the fringes of a good point here. That like particularly...
He's nibbling around the edges.
Yeah. Like for me...
Like a strike.
Offside in the NHL, after pick 10 or 15 seconds, it's void. Everyone has played on... We're not going back. Everyone is back in their positions. It's like a goalie who gets bumped for a goal interference. You've had time to reset now. We've moved past it.
Yeah, this is out of the... It has no bearing on the play.
Nothing. You don't just get a free pass.
Do you remember, this whole thing started with the offside because Matt Duchene, whoever the official was there that missed it, you ruined it, pal. I don't know what your name is.
Even Duchene shot it so embarrassed.
This is all on you.
Yeah.
Because if it didn't happen, there's a chance that we wouldn't be splitting a hair.
But there are certain things that if we have the tech to get it right in real time. No, listen. No, shut up. Listen. If you have the tech to get it right in real time, like in tennis they have, and soccer they have VAR.
Which has ruined the sport and everybody hates it.
If they have the technology to get it immediately right, let's just do it right there. I don't see, we need the guy to call 1 and 2. Why? If we can just go green light, red light, just get the answer. Because I like when they fight. Okay, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
Is there a better, if you're a viewing experience across the board at any sporting event, is there a better viewing experience when you're in a big spot and your home team pitcher paints one on the outside corner? Maybe it's a little outside the outside corner, but big boy behind the plate's like, I don't care, you're gone. Best feeling maybe in sports.
That is the best feeling that an official can give you.
It truly is
and
the
we'll
best
never,
feeling.
We'll
and
never
now,
trust
would you
it
rather
now.
the players create the moments?
But now it's like every time a guy does that, we have to. You're waiting for it. It's like football.
I told you,
for a
ruined football
pass
for me.
downfield, and the guy's like, "Is that a catch?
I don't love
is
this stuff.
It
Football
sucks."
I know it's like anytime one's downfield, we're like, what happened here? Are we doing the flag?
It is with Sam's point. It is the equivalent to questioning every entry in a zone in hockey.
Totally.
Every
single
everyone.
one.
So every strike now won't feel complete until we find out seconds later if he's going to challenge or not.
Yeah.
And that to Sam's point,
if there's 10
will
per game,
suck.
It's going to be painful. I am not arguing it's going to be painful. I'm only saying if we can do every one in real time, let's go. If we can't, then I'm with you. I don't want to watch the whole, circus after every call either. So
Have you umped?
I ump my softball league, yeah.
Okay, but you've never done it.
I'd kill to do it.
I
would
wouldn't
love
trust him to officiate my kids' game.
I'm a little decisive. Listen, people ask me to do it. Hey, ha!
That's because you got a lot of free
Strike
time.
3!
I imagine you looking like Kramer coming into Jerry's apartment.
I was Kramer for Halloween 4 straight years in high school.
It doesn't surprise me at all. All right, what do you have for us, Sammy?
Do you guys want to listen to Jared Bednar?
Did you do game time?
Oh, no, I didn't. Let's do that. Oh,
I'm a host. Oh, my God. That might have been my best host
You're on fire.
moment.
Nice work.
It's game time presented by Bet365. Visit the app for latest odds. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. So after, I think, 13 games on tap last night, there is 2 tonight. 2 games on tap. One of them on Scotiabank Wednesday Night Hockey. It's the Montreal Canadiens in Ottawa to take on the Sens. Huge game for the Sens. It is you looked at the standings this morning. It's an absolute must win. Montreal in the second half of back-to-back. And I got to tell you, this line reflects it. I'm surprised by this. The Ottawa Senators are minus 190 in this game tonight. Minus 190. Montreal Canadiens plus 160. Cole Caulfield game time decision didn't look quite right in the Leafs game last night. They said maybe it was an illness or something that was not right. So he may not go. But for me, if you're looking for a little bit of value, you could do worse than the Montreal Canadiens at plus 160. The other game on tap tonight, big one for the Leafs tank. I know everybody cares about that, but the Philadelphia Flyers are hosting the Washington Capitals. Need 2 points for the Washington Capitals tonight. Sorry, for the Philadelphia Flyers tonight to go even further away from the Leafs to potentially, drive them down. Kipper will be happy about that. Plus 110 on the money line for the Philadelphia Flyers. Washington Capitals minus 130 on the other side of the money line. That was game time presented by Bet365. Visit the app for latest odds. Must be 19 plus. Ontario only. Please play responsibly.
Philly's not much of a tank threat about getting below the Leafs, but it could happen.
You just need them to win.
Yeah.
By the way, I didn't tell Kipper about this, but I told him about this. At the end of every Leafs hour, maybe starting tomorrow, we're going to do a standings update, and we're going to see which crappy teams we need to win for the Leafs to go down in the standings. Excited?
Just stick a fork in my eyes right now.
I didn't know where you were talking about sticking that fork for a second.
Oh, my God. All right.
Oh, this is uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable.
So you guys talked about a little bit with DA, but Jared Bednar, after the game last night, talked about his thoughts on the play with MacKinnon and Ingram. Derek, if you want to play that clip, and then we can react off the back of it. Jared Bednar, clip 1.
Yeah, first thing I looked at, for me, I look at the overhead. He makes the play on the puck, and I got his toes cutting up ice probably through the top of the paint, and Ingram's on the goal line. I don't think there's a chance. There's no chance that he hits the goalie if Nurse doesn't run into him. He's not hitting the goalie. So to me, I look at that, and it's like I check the overhead first. He's going to go where his toes are pointed, and they're going through the top of the crease with Ingram in the bottom of the crease until Nurse makes contact with him, and that's what causes a collision. So to me, that's like I'm looking at that right away. I don't care if he's injured, not injured. It's a severe crash, not a severe crash. It's not a penalty. If you put guys in your own goalie, it's not a penalty. That's the way I see it.
I wasn't
Compelling case.
I wasn't that far off on that at all.
He said Ingram's on the goal line. I don't know.
MacKinnon flies close to the sun there, for sure.
He's dropping the shoulders full speed right to the net.
I actually do think that, like, if anything, you can't just go to the net at full speed and be like, everyone has to get out of the way now. You're allowed to defend and all that. So there is some recklessness there, but that's why I'm fine with it being a penalty.
Oh,
I guess
that's violent.
Yeah, he does.
That is
Not
violent.
often you see a goalie's
Is there
head
any
bleeding.
update on Ingram today?
Oh, man. I haven't seen anything, but good Lord, that is violent. Eesh.
Yeah. And that's their best goalie, too.
There's no question that Nurse definitely changes his angle. So how much you buy into it? Do they put all the stock into how hard he was going in without slowing down?
Maybe.
But that's Nate MacKinnon, man.
Yeah.
That's a ballsy call.
That is. Is Ingram going to be their guy in Edmonton, you think? Is he surpassed Jari?
I just saw a video where his head was bleeding.
Right,
so
he did get his head blown
might
off.
be. He's now. Yeah.
Assuming they reattach it, though.
Yeah.
Yes, the answer is for me, yes, right now. But come on. What do you got, 6 weeks to go here still?
Yeah.
That's a lot of hockey to be played to
Open competition still.
determine anything.
Got to tell you, that was a fabulous hockey game last night.
It was.
And the winning goal is just so beautiful. The give and go between McDavid and Draisaitl finds him perfectly in
So
stride.
dynamic.
That goal to me just spells of a guy that's done that in practice or on his own 500,000 times.
Eyes
He's just
closed, they can do that.
always thinking about how to get to the net. Like that to me is the difference between a guy in a slump and a guy not in a slump. The slumping player, you kind of get that touch on the outside and you're looking for holes. Like before he ever gets to that puck, he's thinking about how he's going to get to the net.
There's actually
Freak of nature.
There's a few beautiful goals in that game last night, but the one that he set up Ryan Nugent-Hopkins for, going to the net, and just beautiful through the legs pass, bar down. Like, they are fun to watch, man.
Fun teams.
They are so fun to watch. Let's pray that we get that in the conference finals.
Just the feeling of another team getting a penalty, it's must-watch TV.
For the Oilers power play.
Yes.
Oh, my God. It's
Right?
unbelievable.
It's like, whoa, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
It's like, and that's compared to watching, obviously, us
Colorado's
in
power
Toronto,
play.
watching a power play where you're like,
Yeah.
right? And then you go watch that for 2 minutes and you're like, okay, how many great A chances are they going to have
What
before
was
it
the
goes
best?
in?
So the Leafs actually led the league in power play percentage. I want to say 2 or 3 years ago. The best that ever looked was when they had Matthews on the other flank coming up out of the zone and get it coming downhill for a catch and release shot. He can't play the flank. I mean, he also hasn't got a pass in his wheelhouse all year, and no D has any deception, but they got to do something different.
I mean, you mentioned it looking different from the Leafs. Like, going from watching Habs Leafs and then doing Leafs talk and then going upstairs and turning on the TV and having it be Colorado, it's a different sport in general.
Totally different.
The pace of that game and everybody flying through it's awesome. I can't wait for the playoffs, for the good games to start, because it's going to be fun again.
Yes.
The Winnipeg Jets.
Oh,
big loss last night. You got Scott
was a big
Arniel
loss.
for us.
I do have Scott Arniel, and we can play the clip. He is the number one most Canadian sounding guy on earth.
Yeah.
So let's play that clip, please. Scott Arniel, clip 1.
We laid a big fat egg.
Oh, buddy.
We didn't execute. We didn't compete on pucks. Chase the game. Chase the whole game. It was just, they had the puck most of the night, and when we did have it, we turned it over. We didn't put it down low enough in their defensive zone to make them go to work. Just fed their transition, turnovers just inside the line or just outside the line, and we're too good of a hockey team to transition the other way. We just kind of kept feeding it.
If that man's favorite band isn't the Tragically Hip, I will eat my Yeti cup.
Yeah, it's either that or he's a Gordon Lightfoot guy. Like,
Okay, good point.
There's no.
I guess there's some older versions of who it could be.
But he's buried his team like
If
5
we-
to 6 times this year.
Not going good.
It's not working.
We're like, we talked about Craig Berube and his future, and so many are now writing articles like bold letters, right?
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Like, where's Scott Arniel with his chances of returning?
I don't think they're good.
Like, those comments are kind of like, he must know the writing's on the wall.
And just so many times this year, they've cut to him for press conferences where he sounded like Eeyore, or, even worse is
Canadian Eeyore.
Yeah, going right at his group where he's just like, we're just no good tonight, didn't have it, didn't bring it.
It's got to be over 5 times that we've played a clip on this show this year of him, similar tone, just maybe to stop the media one, because it doesn't seem to be working.
Yeah.
So.
That one has not solved any problems so far. They're an interesting candidate for a bounce back. Like, they should, their direction, pick one, because they could get in free fall right now and get a pretty good hockey player.
I mean, if you're,
they might want to pull the plug.
If you're talking about rebuilding, I mean, there's some pieces on that team that could fetch you some.
Well, not even rebuilding, just add to it by finishing. They got 62 points.
But here's the thing, though. Okay, this is a double standard, because their core, they are Toronto Central of Canada, but nobody craps on them like they crap. Like, how many times have they gotten out of the first round? It's they've had very eerily similar, failures to the Toronto Maple Leafs, and everybody's like, oh, they could run it back next year. They can, but the Leafs can't. You know, it's like their core
let's
is
remind
even
you,
older.
The Leafs ran it back
Their Leafs,
7 times.
their core is older than the Leafs core, is it not?
I don't know if it's older or not. I would
How old
say
Scheifele and
expectations based
Hellebuck?
on the players the Leafs had were totally different, right? First, fourth,
Yeah.
and 8th overall.
Maybe.
And then these guys, I think it's
What
harder
I'm
to
saying
get
is
guys that would-
they get a bit of a pass.
not on Jets talk.
They get a bit of a pass.
I think we had it sound on Marchand possibly shutting it down yesterday. We didn't use it, but
No, we didn't.
like it's coming, guys. It's
Called
coming.
that a month
Yeah.
ago.
Oh, buddy, the absolutely writing on the wall. I think they probably felt like they needed a bit of a cushion. You couldn't do it like right out of the Olympics.
Mhm.
So have them play a few games and then shut them down. But
Smart organization.
it's just, it is going to start. Like Hellebuck, if you want to go the route of solidifying a pick,
Ooh.
moving forward,
Mhm.
like there's an option to shut him down.
The Jets right now, looking at the bottom of the standings, are so
So you're
close to
okay
the
with
bottom.
them doing it? They're fine. Jets can do whatever they want, but the Leafs got to play with honor. Like, give me a break. What are we doing here?
But he,
Shut down Matthews. His arm is falling off. He's been flying
I'm-
intercontinentally.
You don't
I'm-
know that.
I'm
Come
just,
on.
listen,
no, come
I'm
on.
just,
Can't have it both ways.
no, I'm not having it both ways. I'd sooner have him play, but that's the way it's going. That's the way they're
Yeah.
thinking.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
That's all.
They are
And-
eerily
and guess
close to
what?
the bottom 3.
They haven't lost. Like they haven't looked as bad. No one has looked as bad as the Leafs, Sammy. Nobody.
You know, I had some concern.
That's the biggest point I was making.
Sorry, I just got a text from Jake about the music that Scott O'Neill listens to.
Oh, what is it? What do you got?
Scott O'Neill is always listening to heavy rock. Said he's a 70s, 80s guy, including Zeppelin, AC/DC, Glorious Sons, and the Tragically Hip. Official
I was worried I was going to have to eat that Yeti bug. That was
official
gonna hurt.
research from a video on the Jets YouTube from Jake. So there you go.
Hey, I've said this year, and I don't know how often I've said it on the show.
Why don't they trade Hellebuck? Trade him.
He just won the Hart Trophy last year.
Yeah, Matthews won it 2 years ago.
Yeah,
They
and I said keep him too.
trade him.
He's
32. Not gonna win the
I've
cup.
been concerned about
Yeah.
Canada losing.
Any
superstars.
team like that, yeah, those are options. There's only certain amount of window opportunities you get, and if Winnipeg's passed this year and the Leafs have passed, yes, Sam, look
Yeah.
at all of it.
Yeah.
Trade Scheifele
So, what
too.
is your concern about Canadian teams?
Losing the superstars.
Yeah.
Because there's a realistic possibility that Matthews could go. Quinn Hughes just left. McDavid's a possibility. Brady Tkachuk's a possibility. Like this within a few years, if it all went south, that's the worst case scenario. You know, the league's best players could choose to leave. Those are just fears I have because the Canadian teams are not very good. These guys' contracts are coming up. There is a chance that Canada could draft 1, 2, 3, 4 this year. Or at least 1, 2, 4, 5, or 1, 2, whatever.
Which is replenishing,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
So it's
Gavin McKenna
so
could end up
can't
in
we
Canada
just say
here.
that, like, there's a cycle going on, and
The forest is burned down.
Whether you're
Be growing.
Edmonton or Toronto, you had 10 years, 11 years, 12 years, and it's just, hey, in with the new now.
You heartless.
You guys want to hear Braden Shen talk about his return to St. Louis?
Sure.
Yes.
Let's play that clip there, Derek. Braden.
It was a pretty emotional night. I can usually hold it together pretty good. I'm not going to lie, and driving in the rink today got me a little bit. But, the fans have been so good to me. The organization's been so good. It's been a long time since I played, a home return game, homecoming game, whatever you want to call it. This one just happened so fast with a lot of emotions. But one thing I will say about this group and this team, these guys are super welcoming, and they definitely make you feel a part of it right away.
Speaking of guys who love the Tragically Hip,
Yeah. Braden Shen, 17:06 last night.
Okay.
1 assist, 5 shots.
I get
the Leafs should have traded for him.
Schaefer and how excited everybody is
Yeah.
in the island. But where do you think this lineup is going with Shen, who's 34?
Yeah.
Can I keep going here? Casey Cizikas, 35.
Palat, Pajot, Susie,
30. Anders Lee, 35.
Yeah.
Okay, what's happening here? Like, come on.
This is a bridge year.
Going to the playoffs,
This
probably.
is a bridge year and a
And
year
if-
that no one's any good.
Right? If they
Win a playoff round? Like, no one expected them to be any
they
good.
have the best goalie in the league
where are
right
you
now.
going in the next 2 or 3 years?
You're bridging. Schaefer's going to be there. You got Atchison. You got Eklund. They got another kid there. Oh,
Okay.
the kid in college, Iserman, Danny Nelson.
You gave up some pretty important prospects for Shen. Is he guaranteeing you coming out of the first round?
I mean, no, certainly he's not. But
What's your point?
Yeah, they probably should have kept their powder dry a little bit more.
there's a case
That's
for
my
that.
point.
I do think that this team is a tough out in playoffs, and I think the East is whatever. I think it's just like if you have the opportunity to get these guys in those moments, I think it's worthwhile. The Shen thing, there was other parts involved, right? You're getting rid of Drouin's money. He is one of these kind of culture Long Island-y guys. I don't know if he's going to stay there long. You're right. I saw plenty of people make the case they weren't sure about the Shen deal.
And Anders
you though,
Lee,
Kyper?
could you have gotten something good for him?
I think they're going to re-sign him. But, I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
He's got 15 goals, 20 points. 35 points.
Have you, Matt, talking about winning habits and culture or whatever, have you ever heard somebody say a bad thing about Braden Shen or a bad thing about Palat? Like, these guys are culture,
bunch of
heart,
playoff
and soul guys. It's like Matthew
I
Schaefer
know.
is one of the best young guys. You want to teach him the right way to play? Like, it's fine.
Okay.
I think it's fine.
All right. Okay.
They traded their
But
Colorado's first-round pick this year, which, I mean, the
Oh,
least one
those are still major building blocks that you gave up to get him, Sam. And if
I don't hate it, man.
Right?
I don't. I can't sit here and say that them getting Braden Shen's a bad thing.
Yeah. It's
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm saying is the price worth it? And with an aging core group, at some point it's going to catch up to you. And your Leafs went in this year as one of the oldest teams, and kaboom.
I think you wait and see. And if the Islanders don't make playoffs this year, then you're not going to feel real good about it. But I think this is the attempt to give them, show the team the belief and get them in.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but my Leafs don't have the best young defenseman in the league or the best goalie in the league. So
I don't need to correct you.
yeah, I think I'm right on that one.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Good building blocks.
Totally.
All right.
The Islanders
Totally.
last 17 games, they have 12 home games,
Wow.
5 away, and lots of non-playoff teams. So they should be able to get in, face
All right.
Pittsburgh in round 1. And
How about the Sabres? 8 straight wins. And if they
by the way, the Sabres are a bit like the Islanders in that there's a bit of smoke and mirrors. And Islanders
Okay.
fans, I think when you win 10 straight, the Islanders are 10-0 in overtime.
wow.
Like, it's not. You're not going to do that every year.
So they've
got as many points as they
are
conceivably could out of
the
this.
3-on-3 league champs.
Buddy, Barzal is a speed demon. Schaefer's unbelievable. Holmstrom can fly. Pajot's nasty. Horvat can go. Like, they have great overtime players.
I like the Isles team, man.
They're fun.
They're a good team.
They're fun this year.
So if the Sabres win tomorrow night against the Caps and the Leafs lose tomorrow night against the Ducks, that would set up a Saturday in Buffalo where the Buffalo Sabres had won 9 in a row and the Leafs have lost 9 in a row. An immovable object hits whatever. What's that saying?
How many Leaf fans in that building?
Well, they'll actually be able to have some real fans for once in that game. So that'll be good for them.
I think there's a real chance, given how much Leafs fans have been let down and how much Sabres fans have been let down, that the Leafs would find a way to win that game.
Totally.
Totally. Just a 1-0 grind it
No
out.
fun. Every game the Sabres play has 18 goals in it, so
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to be the case.
Yeah, probably not.
Fun show today, boys.
All right.
Ha!
Montreal and Ottawa. What do you think? Ottawa tonight?
No, I think Montreal.
I like the Sandies. They need Sanderson, but they got to get to playoffs, get Sanderson back,
Yeah,
let
they
Olmark
do.
find it.
They do. Our thanks to David Amber, who's getting you all prepared for Wednesday night hockey on Sportsnet. Do not change that channel. Just leave it all night long. For Nick Kypreos, Justin Bourne, Sammy McKee, Derek Randeo, Jake the Snake. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. If you get a chance, give us a rating and review. We'd love to hear from you.